The Amazon is burning, weakened by 2 years of record drought, with river basins at historic lows, smoke choking huge cities like Sao Paulo, and flames licking the borders of Brazil's capital. NASA satellite images show the spread of wildfires in red here across South America, and then poor air quality marked in yellow stretching over vast swaths of land.
The Amazon as a whole recorded more than 42,000 forest fires between January and August, 87% higher than the same period in 2023.
We're certain these events are going to be more frequent over time, and therefore I will submit a provisional measure to the National Congress to create the legal framework for climate emergency.
Researchers say they've solved the mystery of the origins of the seismic signal that shook the Earth for 9 days last September.
I'm telling you, this is an ominous term, calling these events a cascading hazard, anthropogenic issues, again, behind 9 days of global shaking. Tell us how this happened.
Yeah, cascading hazard. That's a new one for our vocabulary these scary days. It's really fascinating.
Fortunately, no vessels were in the area when the landslide happened. But scientists say the risk of these events is increasing.
The storm swept through northern Vietnam, Laos, Thailand and Myanmar in early September and has killed more than 500 people across the region so far. That's according to official figures. The United Nations said the floods are among the worst in Myanmar's recent history.
Mass flooding is causing devastation in Central and Eastern Europe, with unusually heavy rainfall triggering floods that left a number of people dead.
Well, while one part of Europe is underwater, another is going up in flames. At least 3 people have died in wildfires across Portugal.
Such is the size and scale of the flooding across Central Europe, it's being called a catastrophe. In Poland, raging rivers and torrential downpours have swallowed whole towns and villages.
In nearby Guazza, the town is drowning. That's according to the local mayor.
In the Czech Republic, residents have been warned water levels of some rivers are expected to be higher than they've been in 50 years. And in Romania, authorities say within the last 24 hours, they've recorded the heaviest rainfall there in 100 years.
Storm Boris destroyed buildings, bridges and roads across parts of Central and Eastern Europe. The latest country to be affected is Italy.
Italy, the latest victim of a storm, which has already left communities in neighbouring countries underwater.
The recent flooding in Central Europe has been the worst in at least 2 decades.
There will be bigger floods as this is now nature taking over, which mankind has kicked upside down. It is largely too late.
Night terrors are tearing through Portugal. Engulfed by infernos, more than 100 ravaging and overpowering what and who stand in their wake. They sounded the alarm however they could, like a funeral bell for a landscape devoured.
Hellish scenes on the edge of town. Central Portugal is experiencing an unusually dry September this year.
Scorching heat fanned by high winds has set parts of central and northern Portugal ablaze.
Bolivian firefighters continue to battle some of the worst wildfires the country has ever seen. Large portions of the territory have been engulfed by flames for several weeks now, and even with help from abroad, the fires are out of control.
The fires are fueled by an ongoing spell of dry and hot weather. They've already killed 2 people.
Temperatures and really low humidity have been stoking these really dangerous fire conditions across the state. And this is a state which has been suffering a prolonged drought. State officials are also really concerned that forest fires will spread rapidly due to high winds. Now, this could really engulf and destroy huge areas of natural vegetation. The wildfire season usually peaks in August and September in Brazil. However, this year, these wildfires started unusually early in late May in the Pantanal region, the world's largest wetlands. This destroyed huge areas of a really precious, rich, diverse ecosystem. But this is just the latest in an ongoing saga for Brazil, with extreme weather going from fires to recently, again, only a few months ago, some once-in-a-century flooding in the southernmost state, Rio Grande do Sul, which claimed more than 170 lives. So many different extreme weather issues which are suffocating large parts of Brazil.
While flooding is not uncommon in this part of northern Nigeria, authorities say it is the worst flood for 3 decades.
The weather just kept getting worse and worse, and the rain just kept coming. I've never seen it come up this fast, this quickly.
Life-threatening storm tonight, bringing severe flooding to parts of North Carolina.
Life-threatening flash flooding left the coastal town of Carolina Beach completely submerged after more than 15 inches of rain fell in 12 hours. Forecasters calling it a 1-in-1,000-year event.
Whole swathes of the continent submerged by some of the worst flooding to hit in 30 years, from Austria to Romania. The gushing force of the floodwaters sweeping away everything in their path.
I think that people now are starting to worry about what comes next, what happens next, because we saw a very rapid increase over the last few years of extreme events like floods, but also heat wave and storms. So this is becoming the new normal, unfortunately.
Greenland's Dixon Ford triggered a massive landslide which spawned a mega tsunami that shook the planet for 9 whole days.
We're seeing here a sort of a simulation of how this seismic signal travelled around the world. When we run this, we'll start to see this wave.
This animation shows the signal that baffled scientists for 9 days in September of last year. The dots are seismic monitors around the world picking up vibrations from something happening in Greenland. At the same time that scientists were puzzling over that, a team working in Greenland received a report of a large tsunami in the east of the country.
It started with drip by drip, glaciers melting up in Greenland on the east side there until last September, a side of the mountain gave way and put about enough rock and earth into the ocean to fill 10,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. The seismic wave was recorded in Antarctica on the South Pole about an hour later. But then there was this strange hum that Earth scientists were hearing. They'd never heard anything like this before. Usually you hear it after an earthquake. There are pops and whistles as the Earth settles, but this was like a steady drone. And they went back to the source of that and realized that tsunami wave, 650 feet tall, imagine a wave the size of a 60-story building, it couldn't escape the fjord. Now, normally these tsunamis have enough ocean power to cross entire oceans, but this was stuck in the tight, narrow, these winding inlets there and bounced back and forth every 90 seconds for 9 days. We didn't know this was possible. We didn't know what is called a seiche, a sloshing back and forth in an enclosed area, could last for 9 whole days. And so we are learning in real time what Earth out of balance looks like and things that have never happened in our lifetimes.
What's happening in the Amazon, too much drought, too much rain, and humanity paying a very high price. Scientists have warned that if Earth surpasses the established 1.5 degrees Celsius warming threshold, humanity will face more extreme and irreversible events.